1, 2, 3. Hello, and welcome to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. I am your host,
Dad.
And Dad, the Dav Phoenix. I'm also the Dav. The Dav Phoenix, here to review Dark Phoenix Part 3, The Dark Phoenix. There's a lot of...
It seems pretty redundant in the titling of this particular episode.
I do have a co-host as well.
Hi, Four Eyes.
Hey, how you doing?
That's very sweet.
How you doing,
Although, is
Andor
that this episode? Is that this episode? Yeah, that is this episode, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
I thought maybe it was next one.
Andra Rocky.
That's right.
Yeah.
So named after the owly-looking dude that's hanging out with Lilandra in this episode.
Yeah, we like owly dudes.
He's very owly-like in appearance.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we are here for our Dark Phoenix doubleheader.
That's right.
Yep, we're going to do this episode. We're going to shut her down. We're going to fire her right back up again.
That's right. We don't sleep here at the X-Rated X-Men Anime Review Show.
No, we have an empire to feed.
That's right. That's right. We got to keep the lights on here. That's all we do. Watch X-Men and work our asses off. That's how we roll. But thank you for being a part of this journey with us. I mean, it's been a pretty good journey, Davan. We're like halfway through now, aren't we? Roughly?
I would say.
We're a little
if
more
not,
than
if
halfway
not
through,
a little.
I'd say.
Yeah, I would say a little more than halfway because the last season I don't think is very long. The next season's long.
Yeah, but as long as this one.
Yeah, but season 5 I think is like 12.
It's like it's not that many. So yeah, I think we're more than halfway through our journey. It's been a good run.
And then we'll have to decide what to do next with our lives.
Well, yeah, I would like to have one back, but I know, knowing you, I'm sure we'll just roll into something else that'll take.
I'll keep you busy, buddy. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I guess
we're here to review, as I said, season 3, episode 16, The Dark Phoenix, part 3, The Dark Phoenix. Written by Larry Parr, who's written other episodes of this show, often with a writing partner, I believe, and directed by Larry Houston.
Larry H.
Larry
Dog.
That's what we call him.
Did your efforts prove erstwhile? No. Well, you tried. Davan shot one last shot at trying to get him on the show, and apparently it failed.
There's still time.
Did he not answer you, or he just said no?
I didn't answer. There's still time.
Okay. That's a no, Davan. That's a Davan. You bothered me straight for 3 years now, or at least a year and some change now. Please stop bothering me. Sincerely, Larry Houston.
Your verbal callouts echo through the interverse.
That's right. I'm sick and tired of your bullshit.
Ears, and I'm sick of it.
I'm a man who just wants to live his life, and I don't want to be in your stupid podcast. I think that's what you can glean from that message. Or he's just a busy dude who doesn't have time to answer that. But I choose to form the latter because I know how persuasive you can be, and by that I mean what's another word? What's something that's not quite as bad as annoying, but not quite as like good as persuasive? Something in between.
Bothersome.
No, I don't want to sound like you're actually bothering people. You're oh god, there's a word. You have an iron will, but that's not quite it. It's persistent, I guess. I'll say persistent because that's just
diligent.
That's just on the cusp of borderline stalking.
I tried to stop before then.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, should we get right into this one then? Not dilly dally, since we have 2 episodes.
No, I think we got to dilly dally. I think we got to spend.
All right, let's dilly dally.
3 to 4 hours. Well, I just got a box in the mail that we could do an unboxing video if you want. It's rather large.
Is it comics related?
I wish, but no. Oh no, did I? Oh yeah, I did do that. Okay, good. I was gonna say, did I pick up my comics for both episodes? I did, and my movies, so we're good. All right, so X-Men season 3, episode 16, The Dark Phoenix, part 3, The Dark Phoenix. This is the office. What is it? The office of the redundancy office. in this title because there is far too much use of the word Dark Phoenix in this title as far as this episode as well. I mean, I feel like it's already in the overarching title of the series. You don't need to use it again.
Yeah, but to their credit, it is a Dark Phoenix-centric episode.
All of them are. That's why it's called the Dark Phoenix Saga, Part 1, 2, 3, and 4, because they all are.
All right.
But
I take your point.
Anyway, there's much better titles that could have been used. So anyway, we pick up right at the end of the previous episode when Jean is sort of gone full Phoenix, if you will, to quote a line from Tropic Thunder, and is just going full of fire and energy, basically lost to the Phoenix Force. The rest of the Cyclops is sort of watching this while the rest of the X-Men show up. Beast takes some strange gadget out of his pocket and is trying to. There's some really strange editing in this scene. Did you notice that? At the very beginning, they're like flashing her face and fire, and it just seems very strange. It doesn't seem like it's really
all that real flame.
That's very strange too. They do a couple of real flame shots where you see her eyes, but like the black is turned to flame. It's very strange, especially when you're used to an animated show. Another thing that's strange is Cyclops.
You wish me to return to the cold nothingness of space? You wish me to give up the body?
Never, Andre.
Which is funny compared to what happens at the end of this series, which I know is sort of a rewrite later. But considering how adamant the Phoenix Force is that it will not release Jean Grey and it will not release its hold on having emotions or experiences, it seems rather passively to give them up later. Not
give them up, but once it's taken away, they're just like instantly okay with it.
It's very strange.
Yeah, well, now I'm back to normal. I got a little carried away there. We'll talk about that in the next episode.
That is true. But one thing I do notice is Cyclops' gloves seem to appear and disappear randomly throughout this show. Sometimes he's wearing yellow gloves. So usually when he's wearing the jacket, he's not wearing the yellow gloves. I'm not quite sure if he, it's a swap out or what. But anyway, Beast is studying her with some strange device he's pulled out of his backpack, which he's conveniently carrying around with him a lot now. We see Jean sort of falter a bit, but then kind of reaffirm that she's possessed by the Phoenix Force. I'm sure you have this sound clip, but she blasts the X-Men out of the way as they try to reason with her, shooting them all into the air. Rogue saves Gambit and misses Wolverine.
Only to the Phoenix.
No, I do have that one.
Yeah, I sure do.
I hate ducks.
Wolverine displays an anger towards ducks,
Gambit
which seems
can't help but
unjustified.
notice you saved him, Shell, and not Wolverine. Must be my way with women.
Don't flatter yourself, Swamp Boy.
Yeah, so Wolverine goes plunging into a duck pond while Rogue saves Gambit. Gambit makes an observation that she chose to save him. Instead of Wolverine.
You could make the point that Wolverine will be fine.
That's fine. And she did try to grab him, but just missed his leg. Anyway, she dumps Gambit in the duck pond as well. After he says that, we see Rogue save Cyclops and Beast. It's always funny. Like Wolverine hits the duck pond and then sinks beneath the water. Yeah. And then you see him come up, but then he has his knee up like someone that's sitting in shallow water, which is like, so it's like he either sank through the ground and then came back up, which is possible.
He found a rock.
I guess so, but it's very strange. So anyway, Wolverine hates ducks, as we've established. Rogue
hate ducks.
I hate what? Like what do you like? Literally, what do you have against ducks? I get geese. Geese can be pretty aggressive, but ducks are incredibly passive animals.
Ducks are jerks. You kidding?
No, they're not.
They terrorize each other and people.
Mm-hmm. Do you have evidence?
If a duck,
I've never heard of duck-based
kill you and everyone you care about.
What would it? Donald, Scrooge, Darkwing? Darkwing is my savior.
Oh,
he's
Darkwing. He's a hero. He's a hero. He's a rare duck.
You can't tell me Launchpad McQuack wants my blood. That is a delightful, lovable oaf of a man / duck that would do anything to help out his friend.
Crashes planes constantly and doesn't care who he takes down with him.
Yes, he does. He cares.
He cares. He just not enough to stop him from doing it.
He's a bit of an idiot, but his heart's in the right place. Come on.
I'll give you that.
He wants to help. Great animation in this episode, I'm going to state right now, which is really cool. And it carries through the next one as well. But we see Beast wearing what looks oddly like a Ghostbusters pack a few times on his back. But as the X-Men regroup after Phoenix shoots them off into the park, she comes back after them to attack them further. We see the X-Men sort of unite and try to stop her, but also keep in mind that she is their friend and they don't want to harm her. She shoots a bunch of wind at them all. That's what Storm does.
Bunch
but
of
seems to
wind.
have
It's the
little
power of the hurricane, Andre.
Seems to have little effect. Well, to me, you think Storm would know that air feeds fire. So shooting a bunch of air into a fire is probably not a good idea. If you want to make a vacuum like a tornado and suck the air out of the fire, that would make more sense.
Depends on how much wind. Like, how many fires have you kept going?
It's enough wind that Wolverine has to stick his claws into a tree so he doesn't go flying away.
Yeah, that would put out a fire. Maybe not a phoenix fire, but
she feeds on stars. Like I'm pretty sure it's not enough. Anyway,
she tries lightning later too. And
throughout this entire fight, the X-Men continually try the same old stuff, and it never works. But they keep retrying it, hoping that this time it may work, including Cyclops beams.
Well, they're also pulling their punches too because it's Jean.
Yeah, well, I think at this point, honestly, buddy, if you're possessed by a giant earth-shaking, universe-shattering, elemental force of nature, I would not pull a punch in trying to take you down if you're going to destroy the world in your rage.
What? You wouldn't pull your punches on me?
No, because you could destroy the world. I'd hope you would do the same.
What if I invite you into my world-destroying cabal?
Well, if I could survive the destruction of the world, then absolutely.
Well, yeah, if you're in the cabal, you're
100%. I'm signing me up for the cabal. I'm there. So it's funny too, like
destruction targets.
So she's shooting beams at her eyes and just knocking people down, destroying people left and right. Rogue pulls a tree out of the ground and runs at her with the tree, thinking this will stop her. It's so ridiculous the things they try. So Rogue comes at her with the tree. Phoenix apparently has elemental powers now, allowing her to change. She's almost some kind of an alchemist of sorts, in which she turns the tree into gold. It would appear, or some kind of iron or bronze.
Yeah,
making it too heavy for Storm to be able to carry, I guess. But gold is a rather light metal.
I thought that too. I even maybe wrote that in my X points.
Gold is lighter.
Rogue should have been easily been able to handle that.
Yeah, gold is.
But maybe not while flying, because she was flying.
It would be lighter than a tree, that's for sure. So but anyway, gold is like the lightest metal and the softest metal. So anyway,
it'd be lighter than a tree, though.
Gold, like a super thick like oak tree. I don't know. Anyway, I mean, look, where's my gold ring?
Either way, I think Rogue should have been able.
I can say for sure that this gold ring weighs less than a tree.
Fair enough. That's science.
It's
science right there.
But I have two gold rings. I mean,
now put the ring into water and see if it floats.
It's the weight.
See how much water it displaces, and we'll see how much gold people are pinching off your ring when you're not looking.
This is the science-based episode of X-Rated, the X-Men Review Show.
I mean, they all are, but especially this.
That is true. That is true. Especially with so we get some interesting use of her powers. She seems to turn the X-Men's own powers against each other. Using Gambit's sort of charging ability to charge Gambit's own coat and make it explode. Which Beast tries to hold her in place, but Cyclops goes to shoot her, and she twists, and Beast gets hit. Rogue saves him, brings her down to the ground, then tries to absorb the powers of Jean Grey to no avail, as Jean Grey is far too powerful now with the Phoenix. The Phoenix just knocks Cyclops out, but then has a change of heart when the Jean kind of comes through her psyche.
Love? I do not understand. Your answer is unacceptable.
Sounds like an ex-girlfriend of mine.
Love?
Love?
What, Andre? You disgust me.
I don't understand this emotion. She was an alien from another world. She's seen that right now.
I'm afraid she no longer exists.
So yeah, Jean has a change of heart while she's about to destroy sort of Cyclops. She kissed him on the cheek.
Yep.
Then Phoenix takes back over and starts going nuts, causing these sort of firestorms all across the city. And we get a fun little montage, which I'm going to make reference to later, about some people noticing this sort of effect, which is interesting.
That fellow there?
Yes, we have others too. Did you get the others?
No pics of the others.
No pics of the others.
I did write it down.
There's one particularly noticeable one later as well, but not in this sequence, but later. So we see some people noticing the Phoenix Force as it departs the Earth. It goes into space. Then we visit upon a group of Shi'ar explorers, which seem very much like they're inspired by Star Trek. Even their little insignia is kind of Star Trek-y, and they have matching outfits. And they even reference that they're exploring new galaxies to find new forms of life and meet new civilizations, which is very funny.
They're the scientists. They're the Shi'ar.
They're the Enterprise
Star
crew
Trek.
of the Shi'ar.
Yeah,
who they reference several, like in true fashion, how the show can never accept that anybody gets killed. They always have to reference that people got to safety, or they were, so they mentioned several times they're studying a dead solar system, that nobody is in the solar system. There's no living beings in this entire solar system. It is a dead solar system. So while they're studying it,
very convenient, but yes, continue.
of course. So Jean, when she left Earth, went through a little portal, came out of the portal, seemed to have hyperspaced, I guess, to this dead, it's dead, nobody's there, solar system, and basically shoots herself straight into the heart of its sun, and begins feeding on it. The Shi'ar are studying this, and they're amazed at her abilities, but they realize that in feeding off the sun, she's going to destroy the entire universe, the entire galaxy. In which case, they try to get involved. She blasts out their ship, leaves them, sort of damages their ship, and sends them on their way. Basically,
here they are in the comics.
Yeah, actually, they look pretty close to the comics as they do.
Yeah, like this.
But if I recall correctly, in the comics, it's not a dead.
Pretty much out of here.
If I recall correctly, in the comics, it is not a dead solar system. It is a living solar system.
It's the same one, Dabari. They still call it the Dabari solar system, but it's very inhabited. Yes.
Yes. So in the comics, she just kills all these people, but they can't do that on a kid show in the 90s.
Blowing up.
So the Shi'ar basically go back and report to Lilandra, those people.
Here they are screaming in sheer terror. You just want to.
As they're about to be destroyed by a cold and different phoenix. Also
known as the asparagus people.
Oh yes, I prefer the broccoli people. The one that became a Green Lantern is my favorite. So we see the Lilandra having to deal with this horrible force that has destroyed this galaxy, and realizing something needs to be done about it. We cut back to the X-Men who are at the mansion, trying to figure out what to do next. In regards to their comrade, they're all drinking tea or coffee or some kind of hot drink in their costumes. Wolverine's eating chicken, which is interesting. Cyclops has reverted back to his regular clothing. Then we cut to
they're the people who pick up on her in the comics.
Yeah, they even go right to it's funny, they even go to, like, even in the episode of the show where they're referencing the people are noticing her power. It's funny that they even do that in copying the book.
The reason people will say that this is the best take of Dark Phoenix, other than the comics,
great into the book, 100%.
So close. Just with some snappy new dialogue, So they're both great.
So Cyclops can feel that Jean Grey's heading back to Earth because his connection to her is still intact. As the Phoenix bombards her way back to Earth, the X-Men are trying to figure out what to do. And basically, Beast comes up with an idea. Or rather, he comes up with an idea based on something, is it Rogue says?
Oh,
somebody says that her mind, I think Rogue says something about how her mind, or Cyclops says something about how...
Oh, I thought this was funny.
How do you beat something that can melt you in a split second?
That's it.
What's it?
That's what.
Why hasn't the Phoenix melted us?
Yeah.
Why hasn't the Phoenix melted
us? Right.
That's
that is
one of the most clever ways to not say kill or death.
It's also a very like it's quite a broad way to get from one track to the next. He's like, well, how do we stop something that can kill us in an instant? He's like, that's right, she could kill us in an instant. Have you never thought about that until just now? It's like, why hasn't she?
A mnemonic scrambling device would temporarily prevent her from forming coherent thought.
Mnemonic scrambling device.
We turn her into a drooling doofus.
Basically,
she won't be able to attack us.
Yeah, we'll lobotomize her and she'll be fine.
That's right. Scott,
the galaxy will be saved.
Have a physical partner.
Fine, Cyclops.
Yeah, Cyclops will still have a physical partner that he can be with. That she just won't be much of a conversationalist.
Oh my.
I don't mean in that regard, although I kind of do. Anyway, so Cyclops, figures that if they can scramble her brain, is some part of Jean Grey is still in there, stopping the Phoenix from just outright destroying them in an instant. So Beast comes up with an idea to make some kind of neuro MacGuffin that they can use to, which I'm going to refer to all
mnemonic scrambler.
MacGuffin is what it is. A device that they can use to.
Jeez.
Are you familiar
What a
with the
way
term?
to disregard science
Are
on the
you
science
familiar with the term
episode of our
MacGuffin,
show.
sir?
This is the science episode of our show.
Are you familiar with the term
We're
MacGuffin?
appreciating the science. Yes, I know the term MacGuffin.
Okay, well, for those of the uninitiated, it is an object, event, or character in a film or story that serves to set and keep the plot in motion, despite usually lacking intrinsic importance. So that is exactly this is exactly what this is for this episode. It defines the MacGuffin very, very well. Yes, Forge is a MacGuffin for sure. Old Forge is. Young Forge seems to have some more purpose. So Beast gets to work on coming up with this device. They kind of surmise based on everything they've learned before. I like watching. There's a note here. Did you notice the thing that's something to do with Beast's computer?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, man, you missed some of these little things, which I'm glad that I get to pick up on.
Yeah.
Remind me later for this because I don't have a pen and paper to write down this for my notes.
I often watch these on like a very small screen.
I watch them on my tablet, but I'm on my elliptical, and it's usually about this close to my face. So Beast creates the device. Basically, they're going to use to scramble her brain. And then we cut to essentially Jean Grey coming home, back to her childhood home, back to Earth, looking to see her parents.
I know we got farther than that, but you got to appreciate that insanely good laugh.
Pretty great laugh. The voice actress that plays Jean Grey probably really enjoyed the experience to stretch her wings on this episode, I'd say. And no pun intended on that one.
Oh, yeah,
so she goes to her childhood home looking
very
for
nice
her family.
pun intended. Yeah.
The family is not home. She walks to her childhood home. It's kind of strange as to why she would go to her childhood home, as there's been no reference any time in the series about her having a close connection to her family ever.
Yeah.
Prometheus.
But there's Prometheus.
That is true, which is a ridiculous name for a cat, but I still love it. Like the cat looks so pissed too. Like
it's apropos for the episode, and I'll talk about that later.
Oh, because of who Prometheus is in Greek mythology. Yeah, I guess, but it's a bit on the nose for my liking, I would say.
Yeah,
but
we'll talk about it.
This cat is animated to look as pissed as any cat I've ever seen in my entire life, which is hilarious. So Prometheus is
cats don't like dark phoenixes. I mean, it is a bird.
A lot of animals don't either. So yeah, anyway, when she goes to pet her family cat, the cat's angry and jumps out a window. It's on a main level, so the cat's okay, gets away. Basically, we see that the force within her is troublesome to animals. We also see her go into her childhood room, which contains a large poster for a band called Flat Bill, which I find interesting. And also, just because we had to nail you over the head just a little harder with the thematic purpose of her trip back home, she has a cherished childhood toy that is a little Cyclops with one eye, which of course.
I didn't catch that either. Dang.
You didn't catch that? It's the one she picks up and holds on the bed and looks at lovingly and rubs the nose and the face.
I don't know. That's probably stopping Millie from.
And then she cries when she picks it up. It's obviously supposed to represent Cyclops.
Oh, jeez.
What is this? Catch the X-Men Day?
Yes, there's a lot of Rogue catching the X-Men out of the air. So
she's had a lot of episodes. They're lucky to have her.
As Jean Grey's waiting for the family to appear, she sees the car pull in the driveway. She runs downstairs because she thinks that their family come home. As she does that, we see her family's kind of hiding in another room along with Gambit and Professor X in the house. So this all seems to be some kind of a trap, as it were. I don't know why they knew she would go back to her parents' house. I guess maybe Cyclops' connection.
Yeah, psychic rapport. Or maybe just Xavier read her mind.
I mean, I feel like she's probably well beyond that. So Gambit sneaks up behind her when the car that pulls up backs away, and then she's confused, and then Cyclops sneaks up behind her and puts the MacGuffin on her head. Beast nearby is trying to use some strange little controller he has to do something with it. I'm not sure why. He has to change the levels or something to make it work, but they need to buy a little bit of time. So
he's going to turn it up to 11.
And then we have a moment where she gets weak because of it, and Wolverine has a moment to strike, basically, and she begs him to do it, and he can't because he still loves her.
Logan?
Jean?
Do it. Quickly, while I still have control. Stop her now.
I can!
Which is reminiscent of the magnum, which is reminiscent of the magnum opus that is X-Men: The Last Stand, in which Wolverine does in fact stop her to save the world. I'm kidding. I hate that movie. so much.
Another reason why it sucks.
It's the worst movie ever. X-Men Last Stand is terrible.
Pardon? Well, no. Some of the ones since then have been just as bad or worse.
Nothing's been worse than that, I would say. Even Wolverine Origins, which is pretty bad, I don't say is worse than that.
It's got a couple of cool scenes that I like, though.
Wolverine Origins is definitely the second worst, and I'd say The Last Stand is the worst by far.
I didn't even see the new Phoenix one.
I actually didn't think it was that bad. It's not as bad. It's certainly not as bad as the last.
Was terrible.
That was not great. No,
terrible.
But that's probably third worst. But anyway, so she had pretty much incapacitates the rest of the X-Men. Cyclops was the one in the car. He comes out and tries to reason with her. She's got them all sort of in stasis.
You once used the power of the Phoenix
I jumped the gun.
to bind the M-Cron crystal. I now bind the Phoenix with the power of...
Yeah, you got way ahead.
I did, my bad.
So basically, while she's weakening, while reaching out to Scott's trying to reason with her, Xavier attacks her from behind and has a battle with her in the mindscape of her mind. Jean wakes up just before that happens, basically smashes his wheelchair, and the two of them have a battle in the mindscape, I guess I'll call it.
Astral plane.
That's not really the astral plane. It's in someone's mind, Jean's mind, I guess.
Yeah.
So they duke it out with some fun stuff here. Xavier turns into a giant gladiator with some fun armor. But as he's fighting Jean manages to come, or the Phoenix Jean manages to come through and help him a little bit. And then the two team up and manage to imprison the Phoenix within Jean's mind. Jean's costume reverts back to the nice version of the Phoenix where it's green, and they think that the Phoenix is contained and that everything might be all right. But then, of course, we have a starship appear in the sky above them, and then we see Lilandra and her Imperial Guard come out and basically say that the Phoenix must be destroyed because it's too powerful to be
I'd never have defeated the Phoenix if Jean herself had not helped me. The strength of her mind is truly awesome.
Not that line, but that's straight out of the comics too, where she had to help him.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So boom, end of episode. We discover that Lilandra needs to kill the X-Men, or needs to kill the Phoenix.
For the sake of all that live, Jean Grey must perish.
Once again, can't say kill or die, perish.
Perish is close too.
It's the closest they've come, I think, to saying. I think they said kill once or twice when it wasn't actually.
Yeah, they do in the next episode.
Someone could kill. So
I think. I do believe it's in the next episode. We'll see. All right. Well, that brings us to the reason everybody's here. Yep.
Each of us will have to look into his own heart and decide.
Into your heart, Andre. Rate it from 1 to X.
I mean, this whole saga's been really strong.
Yes.
This episode was a lot of just the X-Men throwing the kitchen sink at the Phoenix and nothing happening because of it. The MacGuffin thing was kind of like, but there's some fun stuff with the battlescape with Xavier. But all of that in between, I think it's super strong. I wouldn't say it's as strong as maybe the last episode, but I did really like it. So like, I'm not.
What did you give the last episode? Do you remember?
I think it was an 8. No, a 9. I think it was a 9 because I liked all the stuff with the inner circle, and I think the first one was an 8 as well, an 8 or 9. But because of that, I'm going to give this one an 8 as well. Very good episode. I liked it a lot. Fun interactions between the X-Men. I feel like there's a lot of time spent fighting Phoenix to no avail, like over and over again. But overall, I really enjoyed it. A lot of good interplay with the X-Men, a lot of in-touching stuff with her and Scott. All good stuff. 8.
I don't think we'll differ. I'll say 8 as well. It's pretty much straight out of the comic, but it's not, other than the very epic Wolverine not being able to
which comes up again later.
Gray. Yeah. It's not one of the more interesting parts of the saga. Like you said, the Mindscape thing is really cool, and it's
that's
really well written in the comic too. When he's talking about Jean helping him, and just like, thank you, my child. It's good stuff. But yeah, 8 I think is fair. A strong 8. A strong 8, I think I would say.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. uncanny X points.
I want to use my first one before I forget about it.
Sure.
So when Beast is designing the pneumatic scrambling device, on his computer you see a signed photo of Carly Ann Crocker.
Oh,
that says "I heart" or "heart."
okay,
heart
that's
Carly
what you were talking about. I did catch that. It was going to be one of my points as well. My X point was Beast still dating Carly? Question mark?
Or at least he still remembers her by having this photo on his computer. So this is Carly, who we met in the episode Beauty and the Beast,
which I gave it 10. I loved that episode.
It was a pretty great episode, but that is from season 2, episode 10.
Yeah, I like to think they're dating.
I'd like to think so too, although there was a whole thing where they couldn't be together because of life. So,
and her horrible father,
who came around after they worked together to save her life from the Friends of Humanity. So,
I suppose. All right. Well, my first X point is just going to be Catherine Disher for this episode and the next one. What an voice acting performance she puts on. It's pretty great. Like that crazy laugh we heard. She has to channel tons of emotion and different emotions. Like she has to go from sort of like meek, defeated Jean Grey to, super powerful Phoenix. I'll eat your son. It's pretty great. She takes you along for a ride. Catherine Disher, shout out.
A bunch of montages in this episode. When Phoenix bursts off planet, we see, as you showed a picture there of Doctor Strange feeling her presence. We see Thor feeling her presence.
Yep.
We also see the Watcher on the moon, Uatu,
Indeed.
Feeling her presence as well. So that's cool. It's neat seeing those sort of things. And one of the biggest ones, as she's traveling through space, we see Eternity himself, the physical embodiment of the Marvel Universe, noticing her presence, which is a very interesting. I mean, most recently he's appeared in Thor: Love and Thunder, so you kind of know what he looks like. But that is the physical representation.
I liked that interpretation of him in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Well, like the cool. Calm blue ocean kind of Zen-like version of it. Yeah, I like that too. I mean, it does certainly seem a level of peace to the universe. Did you like the Love and Thunder version of Zeus?
I don't hate it.
I think the fact that it's incredibly Italian is funny.
I thought it was
when you think of the Greek gods, but yeah,
I thought it was very funny.
Yeah,
but I'm not particularly attached to the character of Zeus either. So,
well, in the comics, he's never been that big a deal. I mean, obviously, Hercules was, which is interesting to see where they're going to go with that. But
that was very cool. I love seeing Hercules. Andre's very generous. I would have milked 2 X points out of all those.
Yeah, I know. But I got something else to mention about the sequence of my next X points. So.
Okay, well, back to me then. Oh my, I've spoiled most of these. All right, let's talk about Prometheus. So the reason it's apropos to the episode, even though Andre thinks it's a terrible cat name, I think it's pretty cool. You can call him Theus, Prometheus, whatever works for you. He was the god of fire who first gave fire to humanity. It was a friend of the humans, and that's why the other gods didn't.
What happened to him, Davan?
Okay. He was punished by an eagle eating his liver over and over again. It would grow back, and then the eagle would come back and eat his liver again, and then it would grow back overnight, and then the eagle would come back and eat his liver again, and so on and so on and so forth.
Yes, but he's often...
That's what he gets for giving humanity fire.
He's often used as an example in fiction, and most notably in the prequel to Alien called Prometheus, about people overreaching and going too far, and being punished for their hubris, as it were, by defining
similar
God.
To the Icarus thing, really,
or the Sisyphus thing. Like Greek mythology is full of people that piss off the gods and get punished by it in interesting and disturbing ways.
The torment of Tantalus is another good one.
Dionysus, or Narcissus, who loves, or Dionysus, right? Is that the one who has the grapes just out of his reach for all eternity? I think Dionysus got a wine, but I feel like there's another character that was like stuck in a pool and couldn't reach grapes for like the rest of eternity. There's also Narcissus.
That's sort of like the torment of Tantalus.
Maybe that is it, but then there's
couldn't get water, but he was constantly knee deep in water. But every time he would reach down to drink it, it would recede.
So much of that. Narcissist who is in love with his own reflection, where you get the term narcissist. King Midas, who wants to turn things to gold but can't touch anything, so it just all turns to gold. There's like just all of this, like, being punished for your hubris by having the gods, give you be careful what you wish for scenarios. Or just punishing you outright, like Sisyphus rolling a boulder uphill for eternity, or Atlas holding the whole world on his back. A lot of the gods punishing you, but Prometheus is always kind of a center point of that allegory for having too much hubris, going too far, and being punished for it. So to circle back to my point about some of those cameos in when you see the brief cameo of Doctor Strange, on the bookshelf behind him are a couple books that have the names Brunner and Ditko on them. Brunner, on that clip, but you do see him for very briefly. Brunner and Ditko were writers and artists who worked for Marvel Comics. Ditko knows famously for creating Spider-Man's costume and Doctor Strange as well, which is salient because of the fact that we see it with Doctor Strange. Brunner was a head character designer on this series as well, so that's probably a little fun nod as to why they included those names in there.
Yep, very cool. They like those nods. They like to throw Kirby's and things like that into them. All right. Well, back to me. Geez, we spoiled most of these. I mentioned the asparagus people, the real flame. Geez, I got nothing left, man. We spoiled all my X points. I'm just gonna have to repeat them. I do think it was a bit of a miscalculation, you could say, having that gold tree be too heavy for Rogue. I'm bringing that up again because it bothers me. Yeah, but they had the Midas touch, didn't they? But yeah, I'm gonna make that my lame X point. That bothers me. Plot hole. That's probably why it's got an 8 and not a 9.
The gold tree bother you that bad?
I like the mnemonic scrambler. There's nothing wrong with the mnemonic scrambler.
It's a perfectly
fine idea.
MacGuffin. It's
hardly
MacGuffin.
a MacGuffin. Actually, I'm going to
definitely
make my defense of the mnemonic scrambler.
Well, it's a MacGuffin because it doesn't work at all. It doesn't even come close to working. The second
it's not even a MacGuffin,
destroys it. No, because it's all built around
work.
No, it's all built around. It's a MacGuffin that turns to a red herring. It's meant to go one way and then doesn't go the other way, but I digress. One thing I thought was funny is that when you see her take off Earth and everybody noticing her, like feeling that, you also see a crowd of humans on the ground watching the flaming bird fly into space. And in that crowd are several members of the Hellfire Club. You see Shaw and Langdon. Yeah, if you look, you can see Shaw and the Langdon. The one, is it Langdon? The one with the
no, there's no Langdon.
Oh, he's the one with the gravity powers. Leland. You see Leland and Shaw, and I think the White Queen, which are the ones that got away. Or some of the ones that got away at the end of that episode. So actually they all got away at the end of the episode. So, but yeah, it's just funny that they're just hanging out in a crowd of people outside. I guess they didn't get that far away from the building when they escaped at the end of the last episode. But you do see them out there as well, which is another little cameo too.
All right. Well, my next point, because I don't know if you could see it when I was flashing it up on screen, but in the comic version, the people who sense the Phoenix is Reed Richards on his fancy technology. Spider-Man's Spider Sense picks it up.
And the Silver Surfer.
And the Silver Surfer picks it up, and also Doctor Strange.
Because of his cosmic awareness.
It's cosmic awareness, yeah. Now, they definitely probably would have loved to have used Spider-Man, but they didn't. They had trouble getting the rights to him. That's why
they showed his hand once.
That was all you could get away with.
Well, considering they had a whole crossover episode later, it's. I guess we're not going to cover that on Spider-Man. We're going to have to do that in Spider-Man. So
yeah, that was in Spider-Man.
Well, my final point is Jean Grey's family. We see in the first appearance of John Grey, Elaine Grey, and Sarah Grey.
Prometheus Grey.
And, Prometheus Grey as well, the cat. But we never heard reference to these people before, and I doubt we ever will again. They didn't have any words, and they were just hanging out in the background being with the X-Men looking kind of worried about, I'm guessing, their family matter, but not really knowing anything about what's going on. They like you just show up and go, oh yeah, hey, so remember your daughter who's a mutant that we're supposed to take care of? Yeah, she got possessed by this evil alien Phoenix Force that can threaten to destroy the entire universe. And we need you guys to help us mislead her so we can put this digital device to scramble her brain and try to save the universe. Okay, whatever you say, Mr. Xavier, go right ahead.
Go right ahead. Melt my daughter.
That's right. Melt her brain. I'll be fine.
Yeah. All right, my last X point. This is the first time they really hint at Jean Grey and Storm being best friends, because they are in the comics as well. That's like a known thing. That's why when the teams split off into the blue team and the gold team in the 90s, Storm and Jean started a team. And then, Cyclops went off to have dalliances with other heroes, as he does. And, yeah, I love that relationship in the comics, and I like it in this show, too. The Queens of the X-Men right there. All right. That's our X points. Yeah.
Good points.
Yeah, well, Storm's always a good point, I would say. Well.
Hey, check this out.
Hey, check this out. This is our comic reminiscences and recommendations segment. You want to go first? You want me to go first, Andre? I go first in this one, don't I? Well, as always, keep reading The Dark Phoenix if you're working your way through it, because if you're enjoying this, it's just a more in-depth version of the same story in here. They don't mess with anything. They don't really change anything. It's just the dialogue is rewritten. And it's pretty, but not entirely. They keep some of the best lines, which is a good way to go, I think. But what my recommendation, I believe, will actually be, because Black Panther comes out on Friday. I'm very excited. Are you excited, Andre?
I sure am.
I'm very excited. But let's talk about Storm and Black Panther at the same time, because it's always a good idea to talk about Storm. This Storm by Dickie Yarden and Medina. It tells the tale of the romance between Storm and T'Challa from their childhood when they first met. And check it out. Storm, Black Panther, great art.
I mean, I feel like they kind of shoehorned that relationship together, and then it didn't last very long.
Yeah, you know what? Read this, but it's not my favorite relationship either. I've never really liked it. I thought it
just happened out of necessity, because they're like, well, we got to find someone from Africa to marry, Black Panther.
I agree with you. I like her better with Forge. I like Storm better with Wolverine. They date, and actually, they're my favorite relationship. I think those two should just go back to dating. Storm and Wolverine work really well together.
I'd like to see that.
But I'll also, just quickly, because I think I may have recommended this before on the show. We've done enough of these now where I'm starting to forget things. But Black Panther by Christopher Priest. Yeah, a lot of the art's done by Joe Jusko, who we love.
Ooh, we sure do. Did you back that Kickstarter?
No, I didn't.
Look, there's a nice Joe Jusko
there. I do, but I already have all of those images.
On little cards, not in giant book form.
Yeah, that's true.
Waste money, Davan. Waste money, like Andre.
Shouldn't I put some away for my daughter?
No, don't have children like Andre. You waste money on frivolous things.
Sam says he has a podcast recommendation for us in our recommendation segment. What is that, Sam? Tell us in the comments. All right, Andre, what do you got for us?
Well, I can't decide which of the two that I selected to pick, so I'll just grab the first one.
The one most apropos to the episode.
Step
up your theme game.
Well, it is actually, but I'll save it. Okay, then I do kind of have it. So this one is actually not really related to the episode. It's mostly related to some sad news that came out of the comic world today.
Oh,
and that was the passing of Kevin O'Neill, the artist who did the artwork for League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
No, yeah, Kevin O'Neill passed away. He did a lot of work with Alan Moore. Very cool comic artist. A very unique art style. That
terrible movie, but I loved that comic actually.
The comic is a masterpiece. The movie was terrible, but that's not the fault of Kevin O'Neill or Alan Moore. But he did some amazing work for 2000 AD. He did, but Leave Restoring Gentleman is probably what most people would recognize his artwork from. But one of his early comics he did for Marvel's Epic line, and one of my favorite comics, if you ever had a chance to read it, is Martial Law, drawn by Kevin O'Neill, written by Pat Mills. It was an AD book. I'm not sure it was an AD book. I think it went straight with DC, but it was basically it was about a cop in the future, Martial Law, whose job it is to stop superheroes. It's kind of like a precursor to The Boys. So in the future, superheroes are these sort of asshole celebrities that, you know, don't care who gets in their way, and they're sort of heralded as you know, by society as being the upper echelon, when in truth they're just jerks like anybody else that gets the kind of power a superhero would have. But this guy's job, who he hates them because he had a bad experience with them early on in his development, is trained by the government to hunt them and stop them. And he gets embroiled in various storylines about corrupt superheroes and how to stop them. It's great. It's an amazingly fun comic. It definitely was a precursor to The Boys. I love Garth Ennis. I love The Boys, but he definitely owes a little nod to this series. And I'm sure he was probably a friend of Pat Mills, or definitely knew them, because I think they all came up with the 2000 AD world. But yeah, check it out. Kevin O'Neill, gone too soon. Amazing artist. His artwork is phenomenal. This book is beautiful, and it's full of. If you love The Boys, you'll love this. And it's dark humor, super violent, fun, and just brimming with that sort of black humor that we all love. So check it out.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
The best thing about it is Martial Law's phrase is one of the best lines, and it sums it up really well. At the back, he says, "I'm a hero hunter. I hunt heroes, and I haven't found any yet."
That is a nice line.
It is a good line.
The podcast idea for us is the Guanbai podcast. It's a Newfoundland trivia podcast. That sounds like a podcast for you to do, Sam. You could host that. I'd go on it.
And my old principal's one of those.
All right. Well, I don't know if I want to be under the thumb of a vice principal again, so maybe I won't do your show, Sam. But it sounds like a good idea.
It sounds good. I love Newfoundland.
Yeah, well, I've never been, but I will soon. Yeah. All right. Well, that was Hey, Check This Out. What's next on the old docket? Let's play a game. We're whipping through this episode pretty fast. We're making good time for us, but because we know we're gonna launch up a second episode as soon as this one's over.
Yeah, we just gotta keep it rolling, keep it moving.
Yep. All right. Well, let's. Oh no, we're not gonna play a game yet. We got to do this first. My God, I can't believe I forgot everyone's favorite segment. My remote with Andre.
All right.
What should people watch? What should the people watch other than my movie podcast where we talk about movies? Well,
I'm going to go with this one. So I try to keep it on theme. I try to keep it on something around the late 80s and early to mid 90s as the box I've been shackled within to pick these movies is. So sticking in those criteria, I've come up with a movie about another alien threat that comes to Earth from afar and threatens to take over the world. But much like the Phoenix, it does threaten to envelop everyone. It is The Blob.
Oh, yeah.
The 1988 version starring Kevin... God, I always forget which one he is. Kevin Dillon, not Matt Dillon. Kevin Dillon, Shawnee Smith. Written by Chuck Russell. This actually is one of those movies that when I talk about movies that you probably never saw or never really were exposed to, but is well worth your time and a very fun watch. It's one that always comes up because it is really, really fun, and the character effects on it are fucking amazing. Like for the 80s, the late 80s, some of the stuff they do with
it looks great.
The Blob. And even the female hero, like it's actually like an early example of a female character. I mean, short of Alien, but aside from that, at the time period when female heroes weren't that common in horror movies, this actually is a great example of one as well. It's a super, super good, fun, fast-paced, excellent effect movie. If you love old horror movies, if you love really good old horror movies, you'll love this one. Check it out, The Blob.
All right, well, that was my remote with Andre. Oh, here we go. What do we have? A comment here. Another comment. My mistake. if you guys had mentioned it, but there was a Eternity cameo at the beginning of part. Oh, we are in part 3. This is
that's
part
what
3.
we showed. We saw that.
MZ.
We
Part
mentioned
4
it.
is after this episode.
We're glad you're paying
We're
attention.
doing
but
2
we did mention
episodes
it, yeah.
tonight.
We got them all. We got the Inner Circle. We got Eternity. We got Uatu. We got Thor. We got Doctor Strange. They're all mentioned.
Do you need more Davan and Andre in your life? Well, tonight you get it.
That's shows a real shortage of Davan and Andre in people's lives.
Yeah, probably not for me. I have a lot of podcasts now. Starting up a new one next Friday. I'll talk about that.
Oh my
later.
Jesus, dude! Come on, do something outside of the internet for God's sake.
I do actually. This is what I do at night when I'm inside anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Don't question the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, negative Nancy over here.
I'm not negative. I just,
What were you doing?
I worry
Playing
about your
with matches?
family.
It's 16-bit gaming with Super Nintendo Skelhorn.
Every time you say Super Nintendo Skelhorn, I just think of The Simpsons where Ralph calls Superintendent Chalmers Super Nintendo Chalmers.
That's where I stole it from.
Oh,
in fact, my new podcast is a Simpsons podcast.
Oh, so, of course it is.
Yep. I love The Simpsons, old Simpsons. It's old Simpsons podcast.
You know what? New Simpsons still has its moments.
No, it doesn't. All right. So, 16-bit gaming. Let's talk about this. This Dark Phoenix saga is a grand epic. You know what else is a grand epic? Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars.
One of the main reasons I wanted the SNES Mini when it came out was to get that game again.
It is a great game. I beat it just again last year, and it's super fun. It's charming. The music's great. It's funny.
It's very funny.
The dialogue in it is very funny. It's probably the best written game I've ever played in that regard. Not many video games make me laugh. This one does. And it's not super hard, but it's got some challenging bits, and it's got a good amount of challenge. It's just a fun. I like games that are still relaxing. That's why I mentioned last week Donkey Kong Country. This game is relaxing to play too, and it's a great game. Check it out. Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars. It's what got me started on RPGs. I never liked RPGs until that game.
I started playing it again, but RPGs are such a commitment. You got to grind for so long sometimes that it's one of those games I like to play when I listen to records because I don't really need. The music is good, but after you listen to it for a while, kind of used to it. So it's a game I like to play while listening to records. So good game.
Yeah. All right. So that was that. Now
that was that.
Now where are we? Now we're gonna play a game.
Oh no.
Yeah, just a quick one.
Oh no.
I think we can.
I don't know.
Well, let's do it anyway.
Okay. I gotta say, I'm really disappointed you didn't incorporate the music from Dazzler in any of these episodes yet. I mean, that Dazzler.
I thought about it.
You got to get that shit in there.
All right, I'll go back and get some.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. I thought about it. It just didn't come about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only one man.
You're failing. You're failing at
podcasts.
Well, listen, you got to figure out what's important to you. The Simpsons or me. Those are your two options.
Sam wants us to play his game.
Oh my God,
he's like gonna ask us.
Third member here.
It's true. He's gonna ask us a Newfoundland slang word, and we have to guess what it means.
How long are we doing this for?
I don't know. Right, we'll see if we do that. So we're gonna randomly go in here. You're gonna have to guess the statistics. Oh no! I pulled out the Marvel masterpieces. They look great. There's a blob there. That's not.
I did end up kickstarting that book, so we'll see how that goes.
You did? Okay, good.
Awesome.
So we'll just say the show supported it, the effort.
Well, then you can send me half the money for it.
Oh.
Okay. We can. Great.
All right, let's start with the Juggernaut. Oh no, wait, that's not the Juggernaut. That's a team-up card. All right, I'm going to go in randomly. Oh, here's a good one. Xavier. All right, what's the strength of Charles Xavier? 1 to 7.
1?
Yes.
He's in a wheelchair.
He works out, though. I think they should have gave him a 2. He gets those arm workouts. Actually, no, his wheelchair
I was
wheels
gonna say his
itself.
wheelchair wheels
Yeah.
itself. He doesn't even move
Never
the wheels.
mind. One is fair. Okay. Intelligence.
7.
No, he's come on now. That's like cosmic awareness level stuff. 5. Which is still pretty
It
great.
goes to
for a
10.
No, so it goes to 7. 1 to 7.
Oh, I thought it went to 10. Then yeah, 5. 5 makes sense.
Yeah. All right.
I thought it
Energy
went to 10.
protection.
Sorry.
No.
Well, 0. He doesn't shoot beams. He's only telepathic.
1. That's as low as it goes.
Yeah.
Mental powers.
6.
Yeah, nailed it.
Okay.
Yeah, nailed it.
It's pretty high, though.
Or no, fighting ability.
1.
Yeah. Speed.
1.
Yeah. All right. All right. Wolverine. Here's a good one. Strength.
5. 4.
What?
4.
No, 2.
2. All right.
4 would be like,
Spider-Man.
yeah.
Okay.
Intelligence.
3.
Good guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Energy projection. We know what that is.
1.
Mental powers.
1.
Fighting ability.
5.
7.
Oh, really? They put him on
He's
that.
the best. He's the best. Who's gonna?
Okay.
He knows everything.
All right.
He's the best there is at what he does.
No, he does isn't very slice.
Speed.
Through 2.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna do one more. Storm. Strength.
2.
Yeah. Intelligence.
4.
3.
Yeah, I should have said 3. I thought of that, and then I sidetracked it.
She's smart and capable, not genius.
Yeah, but she's not a genius. All right.
Energy projection.
5.
They count it as a 1. They don't count what she does. As
Oh,
energy
okay.
projection.
All right.
Mental power.
Shooting lightning power. Mental.
Well,
1?
I'll give you a hint. No, that's where they channel. Her
The mental
powers
are her power. Mental powers will cause the weather to.
I guess so. It's a mutant power. I guess her mental control over it. I guess, or is it physical
5, then?
control over it? Yeah, no, 6.
Oh wow. Okay.
Fighting ability.
3.
4. She's awesome. She doesn't get enough credit, but she schools people all the time in here.
All right. You love your score.
I think she's the best. Speed.
3.
Yeah, you're pretty good at this game, Andre.
Now that I've got a few under my belt, I'm figuring it out. Now I know kind of. But
Wolverine
now that
being as strong as Iron Man.
well, we've sort of established a baseline of sorts, that I can kind of figure out, muddle through for the rest of it, what it's going to be.
All right.
I just find it interesting that that like Storm's powers are mental, according to that description.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it energy projection necessarily either, because she's not producing the energy; she's just manipulating it. So I guess that is fair.
Yeah.
I guess you'd almost have to say Pyro's is the same though, because he doesn't create the fire; he just manipulates it. So
that
this would have to be mental powers as well. Which I get. Yeah, you know what? But I buy it. I'm fine with that.
Pyro.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Andre? You want to just get this one over with and move on to the next?
Yeah, you can do that. Just
right.
one thing I'd like to make a note of is I meant to mention in my movie recommendation, but I didn't. So I usually say a modern movie that I've seen recently that I enjoyed. I actually, surprisingly, and believe me, nobody is more surprised than me, I actually kind of like Black Adam. I saw it and I was like, I'm going to hate this movie. I'm not going to like it. People I know and respect who like movies as much as I do didn't like it. I'm like, I'm going to go and I'm going to hate it. And I watched it. And you know what? It was all right. It wasn't.
You're a wonderful soul. You like everything.
No, I don't. I really don't. There are things I do not like, but it was all right. Like, it was certainly serviceable. It certainly had more heart in places than I thought it would at all. I thought it would just be one excuse to see The Rock blow up a bunch of people. But his character is kind of disassociated with like people in general, and it sort of works. Because I don't think I like The Rock, but I don't think he has a lot of emotional range.
I don't think he's a great actor. No.
I think he's a good action star. I don't know. There's a difference between that and an actor. Would I say Schwarzenegger's a great actor? No. But would I say he's a fine action star? Yes.
I would say he's a great actor.
Would you, based on what? Name one role that you thought he was like showed such emotional range.
I think he has a ton of acting range. Like to do something like Terminator 2, then do something like Predator, and then something like Twins. You know, he can do comedy. He does comedy very well. Kindergarten Cop. Kindergarten Cop is not
but there's a difference between because the Rock
True Lies is one of the best movies ever.
I agree.
His
the
acting
the Rock's really good at comedy too. But there's a difference between if I watch someone rip themselves open emotionally in an acting role, I can't. I've not seen either of those actors do that.
You know what else he's good in? It's not the best movie, but Schwarzenegger's good in End of Days. It's a bad movie, but he's good in it because he has to play this kind of rundown kind of.
Yeah, it's not. It's fine. It's fine. But I just really don't think like Black Adam to me had a deep emotional through line about losing his family and stuff back in the past, and it actually does a decent job of showing you some of that. Seeing the Justice Society in action was fun. The guy that played Hawkman was really good. Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate was also really good. Even the kid that played Atom Smasher was fun. And he even calls like his uncle, who was the original Atom Smasher, played by Henry Winkler, which I thought was a fun little nod.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, he's like an old man now. He's not Atom Smasher anymore, but and Cyclone's fine. But Black Adam, the whole storyline and sort of where it goes and where it comes up, it's serviceable. I think it's fine. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but it was definitely worth watching if you like, superhero movies and fun action stuff. So check it out. Like don't go in expecting No Country for Old Men or something that's artistically a masterpiece, but you'll enjoy it. If you go in knowing what it is and just want to enjoy a fun action movie, you'll probably enjoy it.
Great Expectations. So we'll just come back to Black Panther for a minute. Think we're going to see any X characters introduced? They're going to start trickling in. Apparently, they come out and said we're going to see them quicker than we thought we would because they were saying, "No, you won't see X-Men for 5 or 10 years."
Apparently, they've acknowledged that Namor is a mutant.
Oh,
it will be represented as one in this movie or in the movie.
Well, there we have it. There's our Great Expectations.
Well, I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. I can't name where I read it, but I did read it.
Well, it makes sense because they have to explain why he looks different than his people. The rest of them are blue. Also,
you notice that his people aren't, they're not Atlantis?
Talocan, yeah. But I like that, actually.
I like it, too, because, we already got Aquaman. It's like we don't need two Atlantis people. But,
and it just creates, I just like that. I don't know how they'll kind of tie it to a Greek myth being Atlantis or if they will at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that we're going to get this representation of Aztec, or is it Mayan? I think he's Aztec.
I believe the actor that plays him learned how to speak Mayan, I think.
Okay, maybe it's a Mayan.
Because Talocan is a Mayan thing, is it not? Or is it? Well, aren't the two connected?
No. Well, no. No.
Okay.
I think that one may have destroyed the other.
Oh, who can keep track?
Like the Aztec cities would be like Tenochtitlan.
Talocan is an Aztec paradise.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like that one. Okay, so that's interesting because I really enjoy that. Like, if I could go anywhere in history, like one of the places I would go would probably be Tenochtitlan, which was this like a created island city with all these boardwalks going off of it and everything. And this was like freaking forever ago. Yeah.
Well, Talocan was an Aztec thing, but Tenoch Huerta, who's playing Namor, learned how to speak Mayan for the role. So there you go. They're maybe connected.
We'll see how they do it.
All right.
It should be interesting. Like it's because we get so much kind of Greek and Roman sort of stuff anyway in a lot of these myths things, and we have Norse with Thor.
Actually, one person I'm excited to see how he's depicted in the movie, and I'm sure he's just a one-off character, not important at all, is Tuma, who's going to be in the book.
Is he going to be in the movie?
There's an actor who's playing a Tuma in the movie.
Oh my god, it's not a Tuma.
And also Namora is listed as well as being a character in the movie. So
we just got a Tuma and Kindergarten Cop into an episode together.
I know,
organically.
We sure did.
So I could say it's not a Tuma.
It's not a Tuma.
That was beautiful.
That is good. But
I'm also excited to see Riri Williams. This podcast. It's downhill from here, bud. That's as good as it gets.
I'm interested to see, the debut of Riri Williams as well, who is their fill-in for Iron.
I
Apparently,
haven't read a lot of her character yet.
Apparently, advanced screenings have praised her character and her depiction in the movie.
That's cool. I've read a few issues that she was in where she, talks to her Tony hologram.
Yeah, I doubt that. It'd be cool if they did get him back to do that, but I highly doubt he would do that.
Oh, I think they will for her series.
Man, the amount of money they probably have to pay to have him back, I don't think they would do it.
Well, they're bringing him back anyway for Secret Wars, so I don't know. I think they probably will.
Are you sure they are?
Well, of course. If you think they'll do Secret Wars without him, like I would bet all the money I will ever make for the rest of my life.
I think those particular actors are happy to be done with this
until Secret Wars.
It seems cheapening just to bring him back just for that, especially back.
No, it's not cheapening. It's going to be emotional if they do it right.
No, just bring back Tom Cruise.
Last hurrah, right? It's going to be the Logan.
He had to last. He saved the universe and then died. You can't do it again.
Mark my words, they will do it again.
I would bet that they're not. I don't think they will, but we'll see.
Well, I think will come up with terms of this bet, but we're making a real bet.
I think you might see the shuffling off of other characters, like maybe the Hulk or somebody else that's been around for a while, but you definitely won't see. I don't think you'll see him back.
Everybody's back for Secret Wars.
Okay.
Oops, I almost clicked on the wrong.
I just watched the Quantumania trailer, and I'm pretty excited about Kang the Conqueror. I know. We saw bits of him already, but the version that we're going to see in that movie looks fucking awesome. I'm very excited.
Kang.
That's right.
All I need now is for you to contact your students, Professor.
Well, your homework is to go watch the next episode of the Dark Phoenix saga, which is the Dark Phoenix saga Part 4, Fate of the Phoenix, which, as we are about to roll into that episode next, you should have watched it already. But if you have a time machine and can pause time perhaps and watch this episode in between the next 2 episodes of the show, do so now. And also contact me and let me know how I can have access to this power, because I'd like to use it for terrible and wonderful things.
Tune in next episode where Andre punishes me for getting him to do 2 episodes in a row.
That'll be slow. That punishment will be slow and drawn
out. I actually have a punishment schedule.
Are you familiar with Punjabi sticks?
No.
Oh, you will be.
I can't wait to learn.
You will be.
Well, yeah. Well, let's take a little 15-minute break between episodes, maybe.
Okay, it's enough time to get a drink and come back.
Yeah, exactly. But let's well, why don't you tell us, Andre?
But what? The video looks so cool. I love it so much.
Yeah. Tell us about the podcast that relates to that cool video.
Well, the X-Men, that's the one we're doing right now. The Graphic Histories podcast is my other podcast, the one that started this rigmarole, and I think got the attention of Davan, who recruited me for this show. Was on hiatus while I was doing the Hubtown play here in Nova Scotia, Truro, and that's wrapped up. So I'm back to doing it. I have some exciting guests coming down the pipeline. One has been recorded already, which will be our next episode, and this will be the first time you hear this because I didn't even announce this on social media yet.
Oh, it's hold on, let me bring up a banner for this.
Oh, do you have an exclusive?
I have an exclusives banner, yeah.
For my show? Oh, nice.
I have an exclusives theme too. Hold on. Okay, I can't find the exclusives theme. Carry on.
Actually, I should check to see if that episode, because usually my new episodes drop on a Friday, and I can't remember what I set it up for the announcement, but I'll change it in the meantime. The next episode will fall on, where's my calendar? The 18th, so a week soon, a week from this Friday, and that will be with the delightful and interesting John Russo, who is the scriptwriter behind Night of the Living Dead, the original black and white classic that started the whole zombie thing.
One of the best
interesting guy
ever.
Yeah, very interesting guy. A lot of interesting opinions and a lot of things to say about George Romero, his former partner. Yeah, it sounds like they had a problem, not a problematic, but definitely an interesting relationship, the two of them.
When did you record?
Yesterday. So, he was out here doing a cameo in a little horror movie they were filming, and I met him at a screening they did in Halifax. and I got a signed copy of the script for Night of the Living Dead, which is pretty cool. But it's one of my favorite movies, and the guy's been a hero of mine because, Romero obviously was one as well, but he's no longer with us. So John and I walked through some of the different parts of that history, how we got started, and, the lasting legacy of the zombie movie and his place in that. Very interesting. This next guest, which I don't hesitant to give up this early, but I guess I could, because I haven't recorded it yet, is Jason Liu, who is a writer for Marvel Comics. And hopefully a future guest on the show.
There we go. Another ex-guest.
Yes, he writes X-Men comics, right? Currently, or is he writing for Marvel at the moment?
Yeah, he did a. What was the episode he wanted to do with us? It had to do with that.
Oh, he wanted to do the X Factor episode, but we didn't.
Oh, right, because he just did.
He did a multiple man series, didn't he?
Yeah, a multiple man. It's like a mini series in an X-Men Unlimited comic. Like, so it was like two issues or something like that. But it was like multiple man, strong guy, and like the X Factor guys. Yeah,
he's working on that Trials of X comic. He's got some of those Stillwater, but with Chip Zdarsky, which was really cool. I read the first trade of that. It was really interesting. He did the Pitiful Human Lizard, which kind of wraps into the Captain Canuck stuff that's come out of recently. Very cool guy. He's also a friend of David Cutler's as well, so there's connection there too. So, yeah, I'm very excited to have him on.
We're all friends here
on my show, and then hopefully on this one too, because I know he loves this cartoon and definitely wants to be on to talk about it. So,
I can't wait. Can't wait for your episode and our episode. It's going to be great.
That's right.
Look forward to that Russo one too. Also, check out my movie podcast. Hold Up a Movie Podcast. We'll be having an episode on the 16th of November where we review 3 dystopian movies: Logan's Run, Gattaca, and some movie Murphy's torturing me with The Rock in it.
Yeah, you're doing Southland Tales.
It's like god awfully long.
Watch the director's cut.
He's mad at me for making him watch like an hour and 10-minute movie, which was actually good, The Tingler, and he's punishing me with 2.5 hours of The Rock.
For dystopian movies, you went with what again?
Logan's
Southland
Run.
Tales, Logan's Run,
and Gattaca. Cousin Dave picked that one. He's going to join us for the episode.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many better dystopian movies, but anyway,
we'll come back around on a lot of these themes. But this one almost is like, I haven't watched. I don't know anything about Southland Tales, but as far as the other two go, the sort of sub theme is they're dystopias disguised as utopias, which is interesting.
Oh, well, then you should have included Dark City in that collection. That's a really
Dark City was my pick before Cousin Dave joined us, and it became Gattaca.
No, that's unfortunate.
But the thing is, I know Dark City's great, and I'm trying to pick movies where I have a question in my mind whether it holds up or not. Where Dark City, I mean, it's probably going to get on the show anyway.
Well, see, arguably, Southland Tales was never a popular movie. Nobody ever thought it was a good movie. I mean,
no. But for Murphy's picks, we ask, does it measure up?
Measure up what? Is it better now than it was then?
To like great movies of the past. Like
okay.
There's a thesis behind our podcast.
I guess
I think movies were better back in the day.
That's a pretty rough. I mean, that's like picking.
He's doing it to punish me. This one's just like a
okay. Well, Southland Tales is a very interesting movie, but if you're trying to use it as a representative of the best of modern dystopia, you are picking way far from that tree. Like you're not even close. But and I wouldn't include that one either, Sam. But
no, neither would I. I wouldn't call that a good movie, Sam.
I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just not.
I've never seen
as far
it,
as dystopian movies go, there could be much better ones. I think I've seen them all, sadly enough.
Oh my. Also check out my other podcast, Locutors of Trek, which is part of the larger Live Long and Podcast brand. Check all that out.
How come I'm not there, by the way?
Because you don't come on the Star Trek stuff.
Oh, it's only on the Star Trek stuff. I thought this was the other way.
Oh, I see. Podcast. So
well, that's disappointing. I would like to be drawn like someone from Lower Decks.
I'll get you drawn up like The Simpsons for my Simpsons podcast. How about that? And, check out Trivial Debates. Andre was eventually on there recently. And,
sure was a fun episode.
I died inside. So if you want to see that, check out the last episode.
Yeah, you can see Devin get shaken to his core by what seems to be unimportant nonsense. Unimportant, entertaining nonsense, but nonsense that Davin takes way more seriously than I or anybody else in that show did.
All right, Sam's desperate for us to play his game. The word is deadly.
Really good. Something's really good. It's deadly.
Is that what it means in Newfoundland?
Yes.
It probably means
Well,
something different in Newfoundland.
No, it means the same as it does elsewhere.
Oh, well, there you go.
I mean, I believe so, unless he's going to let us know I'm wrong, but
I'm sure he'll let us know. But, you know, speaking of trivial debates and Live Long and Podcast.
to use that in song.
What?
I hope we got proper licensing to use that particular song.
Yeah, we might get in trouble for that. We're going to find out.
Pretty great, though.
Yeah.
That's a great video.
Yeah. So that was the Super Mater Brothers. Check them out. I mean, yeah, they're probably going to get in trouble. If this episode of ours gets, like, taken down because of that, I'm going to be so mad. Anyway, yeah, I mean, they'll probably...
As long as they listen to this and know they should attack them, not us, they'll be fine.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. You can support our show at Patreon, like Ryan and Jaemeel and Daniel.
Yeah. Yes, I got some free time now, so I'm going to create some new stuff for that.
Oh, good. We're going to get some new merch going. And check us out at X-Men Review Show, Gmail, Facebook, YouTubes, all that stuff. Find the audio-only version wherever you get your podcasts. Please like, review, and subscribe. And we are a proud member of the United Federation of Podcasts. Now we find out if we got the game right. Did we get the game right? Andre is right. That was too easy. That wasn't a great game, Sam. I gotta say, we love you, but that's not a Newfoundland thing. I gotta tell you.
Yeah, I mean it kind of is, but it kind of
is it
kind of yeah. It's definitely more. It's definitely like it's something that may have been a worldly thing for a while, but it's still a Newfoundland.
It's sticking around in Newfoundland.
Yeah,
okay, all right. I got you. You must wrestle up there.
I did, yeah, several times.
Right on.
Spend a lot of time in Newfoundland and Labrador.
No use to me.
Oh well, you heard the Phoenix. Let's get out of here.
Next time.
Catch you next time, everybody. Oh yeah, I have a thing. Bye. 1, 2, 3.